Okay, so Nun Dalit. Hey, so let's do it. So again, Rina's super fire section, beautiful stuff that we've been discussing. About the idea of how Simcha, I think last week we spoke about, right? How joy and Simcha is natural to the Neshama, right? That was what we spoke about last time. That really, when a person doesn't feel happy or enjoy in Avodas Hashem and everything, it's not because like you're doing something wrong necessarily. Like the point is that there's some sort of klipa, there's some sort of blockage. There's a curtain over your Neshama which is shining bright in its natural state of joy. So if you just remove the natural state, if you just remove that klipa and that darkness and that blanket over it, whatever it is, then all of a sudden your Neshama is shining full. The way you remove that is every word of tefillah we say, every brach we make, everything we do ever. Mamish. Like it's in terms of avodas Hashem. We're removing a shikah more of that klipa. So that's the idea. And that's so that was right. So that was shout out before. Okay, fine. Let's go in haste. Let's see where we at. So kimo betfilas vakashas rachabin mamshecha adam tzarachav mishamayim v'noshem mitzarosav. So just like when a person is making a bakasha for rachamim from Shemayim, he's mamshech. He draws down what he needs from Shemayim, and he's saved from all of his sorrows. Kain hu betfilas shevach. So too is the same thing with a tefillah of praise. What does that mean? Shal yada mamshech tzarachav v'noshem mitzarosav. Because by the way of making a tefillah with shevach, we also draw down Yeshua and saving from our tzaras. Why? Because by the way of us praising Hakadosh Baruch Hu, our rov chasadav, by the way praising Hashem's kindness that He does with us, because it may be, for example, in any sort of specific place, bless you, mashpia alav Hakadosh Baruch Hu hadavarahu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu will then rain down that thing onto us. Whatever we're praising Hashem for, if we praise Hashem for Parnasa, we thank Hashem for Parnasa, Hashem will say, then rain us down more with Parnasa. Let's see. It says in the Tainis Daf Kaf Dalet, Amar, Mashiv Haruach, V'noshav Zika, Morid Agashem, Ve'ata Mitra. And when you say Mashiv Haruach, and V'noshav Zika, then the wind blew, Morid Agashem, and the rain came down, Ve'ata Mitra, and then the rain came, right? Okay, so and the dew came, right? So the idea is that when you praise the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because Mashiv Haruach is not a bakasha, we know that. Right, and the Gemara Tainis is very careful with that throughout the whole Masechta. Talk about that Mashiv Haruach is a haskara. You're mentioning the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has the ability and the koach to give you rain. And in Barech Aleinu, that's when we, so to speak, ask for rain, right? That's the idea, right? So we just mention and praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He is the one who is Mashiv Haruach Umorei Geshem. Then Hashem will then take that and send rain down to us. Hari Afal Gad Levar B'Gemara. Sham the look at that. Yeah, look at this. See, when I don't prepare, I just predict it all. Okay, so Abba got the Vori B'Gemara. Sham the Malkom Habakasha Ala Geshamim. Hu Brachat Shis. Right? Because really the Malkom for the Bakasha of the Geshem is in the 9th bracha Barech Aleinu. Uma Shiva Ruach Mer Geshem Hu Rak Has Karas Gvuras Geshamim. But Bracha Shnia. Right, and like we just said a second ago, that Mashiv Rach just has kara of the geshamim. Mikol makom dai haya bas karas gvuras geshamim lahavi geshem. Right, the Gemara and Tainis use that lashon of the gvuras geshamim. Just by mentioning Hashem, you are the one that is in control of the rain. You have the power to do it. Sha'al yidei sidor hashevach ona Hakadosh Baruch Hu kimo al yidei bakasha. That Hakadosh Baruch Hu will even answer that shevach in the way of bakasha. Which is a nifla. It's amazing. The Kamosh Dershu Chazal is brought down in Nefesh Chaim. Ma'u asher akia. Right? I will be what I will be. That's the pasuk. So Kashem. She'ata hava ami kachni hava imachot. So Hashem Kosh Baruch Hu is basically saying the way that before the Chazal before that is Hashem says that just like you are with me, then I am with you. The Kenamar David Hashem tzilcha al yad minecha. Hakadosh Baruch Hashem is your shadow, right? Hashem tzilcha, your shadow is on your right hand. What does this mean? Mahu Hashem tzilcha, kitzelcha, right? So that's the idea over here is right. Okay, fine. Hashem tzilcha, Hashem, right? That's really what it is. Hashem tzilcha, he's being medayik. Hashem tzilcha, Hashem, you save with your right hand. So Mahu Hashem tzilcha, rather it's kitzelcha. It's like a shadow. That's what he's saying. He's being medayik with the logic because a tzel is a shadow. It also means to save, right? So he's being medayik. So kitzelcha, ma tzilcha, imata misachik lo. Right, so just like at your shadow, so to speak, if you would smile at it, the shadow would smile right back at you. Right, just like that. If you if you had let's say you can see your face in the shadow. Just the concept is that if you smile at your shadow smiles right back. Right, your shadow is literally you, just a reflection, so to speak. And if you give an angry face, or a friendly face, Afu no sein l'cha. Your shadow will give you the same exact thing. Kach av HaKadosh Baruch Hu Hashem tzilcha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our shadow. Beautiful. Kishem she'ata hu imo, hu ya'imecha ad kan. Just as you are with Hashem, He is with you. The ikr divrei medrash. Hainu be'inin avodaso. She'kemoshu dovak lebora ba'avodaso kena HaKadosh Baruch Hu karov elav mashpia lo. The way the medrash explains is that this is the same way, the same concept in our avodas Hashem. This is a fundamental concept. That in our avodas Hashem, the way that we act towards Hashem, the way that as close as we get to Hashem, it gets just as close to us and does the same to us. It's the same concept with shira to Hashem. When what? When a person looks up to Shemaim with simcha and shira, and we look up to Shemaim with a smile on our face and upon him of simcha and excitedness to go do our avodas Hashem, our excitedness to go learn Torah, excitedness to go daven. So too, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does the exact same thing. Hashem's our shadow, so to speak. That He looks at us and may upon Him with a shining face. Uva also Indian sha'alavhu mishor mishabech. In the way that we praise Hashem, in the way that we send up our shebach, we send our praise with the excitement and simcha. Kegon shemakir means lavush HaKadosh Baruch Hu rof echoim. For example, when we recognize that these lavas, the burning fire with an excitedness, that we say, "Oh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is rof echoim," right? That we say, "Al yedei karasov v'simchaso zu." By doing that, then by us recognizing being makir to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then so to speak, Hashem takes that, reciprocates it right back, and says, "Oh, your excitement to praise me for being able to heal you, now I'm going to take that and I'm going to heal you. I'm going to send it back down." So he's saying that the way that we actually can use simcha and Rinah and praise and shevach of Hashem is even in place of a bakasha. And that, again, we're going to talk about this concept more, but now you're starting to understand too the concept. People get flustered and overwhelmed because they complain because they don't understand the words tefillah. It's like, what's the point of me davening? You have to recognize that there's so much more depth to these words of tefillah than you just understanding them. It's not a conversation. Like we said already. Like tefillah itself is not necessarily just it's not just a conversation between you and your friend. We said the ikar of tefillah is relationship, right? Zanshik Knesset Gedola instituted the concept of tefillah in a way that it's how we said, it's how the Nevi'im had prophesied in Nevuah. These words, somehow we know, based on Nevuah, that these words and these inyonim throughout the Shemona Esrei and throughout Tefillah, that's what makes the HaKadosh Baruch Hu happy. It's what makes us kiviyachol. And it's what makes Hashem actually want to respond to us and be mashpiyat to us. It's not just simply, just because, that's why davening is not, that's why Hashem Knesset Gedolah institute all this stuff. It's not just like they're trying to be annoying. It's like, these are actual things that we would never pick up on, right? When we say, we have the ability tomorrow, to say, Baruch Hashem, Rofech Choleh Amo Yisrael, right, with excitement. And if we say that praise and that shevach with excitement, which, if we were just having a normal conversation with Hashem, we're doing our own bodhus, how often do we say, "Oh yeah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, wow, it's really incredible." Actually, no, let's use a different bracha, for example. Let's just say maybe, I don't know, let's say, give me a random bracha, Shemona Esrei. T'kab shofar. What's the concluding bracha? T'kab shofar. Right? How long do we ever talking to Hashem Hashem can be parnasa hell and wow, you are the one that's gonna be mekabetz the galias. You're gonna take you're gonna be the one to take all the Jewish from all the four corners of the world and bring us together. Build a base. Yes, you are. In our normal day, in our normal course of things, how many of us do that? Okay, maybe, but do we really do that with as part of it? It's kind of hard for a person to be kovei with that type of bakasha. So the point is now, that's this thing. Now we have the opportunity every day to say that with islavus. Now, when we say that, now HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks back and says, "Oh, you want the gula? Okay, sure." I mean, that's Hashem, but we're building blocks. Each tefillah is a block. We're getting there, but that's the idea. The abir bazeh tichtiv tov lachasus ba'Hashem mivtoch ba'adam umefarish agra huva besidor debitachon. Hu al idin sheyesh bo have tocha. V'chesayon hu below avtacha. So what are we saying? So the Bira Bazeh is dichiv tov lachasos b'Hashem. Right, it's better to take sustenance in HaKadosh Baruch Hu than man. Right, that's I believe what he's saying. Right, it's better to take sustenance. Chasos is the shelter. It's better to take shelter in HaKadosh Baruch Hu to trust in man. Right, it's better to take shelter in Hashem than to trust in man. Umefarish agra huva besidor de bitachon. Now, what is bitachon? This trust. Hu al idin sheyesh bo havtacha. The reason why do we trust people? Because there's a havtacha. We have bitachon in a person because of the fact there's a promise. They made a promise to us. V'chisayon hu below avtacha. And what's a shelter? A shelter is without, there's no promise, so to speak. What does this mean? Ka'adam ha'choseh b'sel ilan. So, for example, a person under a tree, right? Whether, like, if I want, let's say I'm a big businessman or whatever it is, I'm walking around, and, I know that everybody wants me. I have to I have to hire a private security company. And that they make a promise to me. They take an oath of office to me. They're going to protect me and take a bullet from me, right? And I have bitachon in that. Why? Because I pay them some money also. There's a mutual agreement going on there, right? To protect each other. That's the trust between man. That's what it means to have like bitachon in man. That's why we trust somebody. But for example, do you make a promise and a deal with a tree? Is there any conditions to going under a tree for some shade? No, you don't have to do anything. There's not that. It's automatic, right? So to speak, you're seeing over here. And the same thing with the shade of the tree. It's why does the tree just give him shade? It's because that's the etzem mitzius. The tree gives shade. Anybody who comes close to the tree, and anybody who stands in the shade, just automatically by the way of things, that he's going to be protected. He's protected from the rain and the sun. Listen how beautiful this is. In the light of the king, the sustenance light of the king. That just like the or, just like the light shines on everybody, because why? It's the Metzias, right? Why is the light? Do we have something going on with the light in this one? Do we have a Kiva? You got a little arrangement going with the rays of light coming in here. You're sustaining. You got a little backdoor deal. No, right? With the light bulbs. No, it's just that's the nature of light. The nature of light is you turn on the light, it just shines. There's no backdoor deals going on. It's just automatic. It's the nature of light, the spread. Anybody who stands by the light, whether you like it or not, you're gonna bask in the light. Right? You can do things to shield it if you want to, but if the light's on, you're standing in the room, you're going to get light automatically. So to anybody who finds shade and anybody who finds shelter in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even against your will, by happenstance, you have to do anything, you're going to be saved. Because this is the essence of Hashem's goodness. That he's infinite. Because when we take shelter in Hashem, when we have this bitachon of shelter in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we shelter ourselves under the cell of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, under the tree of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then we're good. That's it. Like what else do we need? Right? Ultimately, then when a person lives with that bitachon in Hashem, again, then because it's just automatic. Everything in life that happens is automatic. It's bitachon. Whatever happens, yeah.
Is he saying that sheltering is sort of a lower level than I guess bitachon, and like all the more so if you had bitachon Hashem is all the more so.
Well, I think he's saying it's I might understand it a little bit differently. I think what he's saying is that again the concept of right now when he's saying being bitachon, he's saying davka bitachon. With a person, like he's not talking about bitachon with Hashem, because that's a different topic, right? Because the point is, even bitachon with Hashem is not like what we're talking about. We're talking about bitachon with a person, like in the sense of trusting a person, like because the way that people trust each other, yeah, even in a way. For example, like think about it, like even with like a parent, let's say, right? Even with a parent, right? There's a bitachon, there's a trust that I have faith that if I'm ever in trouble, my dad will save me. Right? For sure, 100%. I believe that with all my heart. Right? But it is possible that maybe one time he just won't be able to save me, chas v'shalom, or whatever. I don't even know what we're talking about, but like situation. Maybe he can't, maybe he's over I live in Israel, he lives there, maybe I need his help for something. What's he going to do? What am I going to do? Right? Even though like we have this bitachon in each other, but like ultimately that's not a guarantee. But that's unlike the light. Let's say the sunlight. Let's say I'm standing in the field and I have a deal with the sunlight, so to speak. But I don't need to have a deal with sunlight or not to shine on me, because it's going to shine on me either way.
Oh, I hear. So saying that for Hashem is automatic.
Exactly, it's just automatic. That if you bask in the cell of Hashem, that's what he's saying over here, where it says, that's how he's being medayek over here. Tov lachasus b'Hashem, it's better to take shelter in Hashem, mivtoach ba'adam, than to take bitachon in man. So he's giving, I think it's a higher level of even, it's just a higher level. He's even talking about bitachon and Hashem. It's a different concept, but it's a beautiful concept. What he's saying. V'nira leforesh shemash kosef is in Tehillim. Chasecha v'mitcha tamid yitzruni. That Kodesh Baruch Hu, your kindness and your truth will always protect me. And many times we find the concept of Hakadosh Baruch Hu runs b'chesed and emes, with truth and chesed. Right? So ayin agra b'sidish refarsh of an acher. The chesed hu mash shemizbarach nosein b'tzura shel nesina. Because what is chesed? Chesed is what Hakadosh Baruch Hu gives in the manner of giving, of being mashpiyah to us. The emes hu mash mekablim. Right? Mechamas etzem amitas ametzias. And what is truth? Truth is what, and emes is what we receive because of the nature of things. Tikiviyachol mitzios or pnei Hashem yisbarach, because the nature of Hakadosh Baruch Hu's or is sheshofea akol nimsal liyado v'chutzabo shefa shatoras chaim avas chesed u'tzedakah bracha v'nimsa shtei midos heim be'ashkacha midas ha'chesed u'midas ha'emes. That basically we just see that Hakadosh Baruch Hu operates b'chesed be'emes. That always, no matter what, He's always bestowing upon us. That's just what the midah of Hashem. Because He's always bestowing, giving, and always helping us receive. V'im came the Indian of tefillah. So regarding our tefillas, im mitzios masha adam amud mishabeach lefanav yisbarach hu davak bo. Because so therefore this applies to davening. Because because the reality is, when one's standing before Hashem, the reality is, the mitzias is. It's not a nice idea. The mitzias is, the reality is that when you daven to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, you are davuk to Him. When we daven, when we stand in tefillah, you are literally davuk to Him. Like we said with the Rambam, when you put your mind somewhere, you're there. Kimosha Kazam Rambam. I just said something else. I'm saying I didn't prepare this. I guess I've done this so many times. I just know by heart subconsciously. Because I just said like a little. I guess that's we're on fire over here. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Gemoshe Kazam Rambam Mor Nebuchim Shevanu Psicha. Right? Shalosh Habeach V'lefoyer V'lezamer Litnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Liyos Ito Yizbarach Bepoel Bekarov Elov Bekirva Gedola. When you're praising HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and when you're screaming to Him, when you're davening, when you're talking to Him, Bepoel, where do you go? You go right next to Him, and you're double to Him. You go into where? The tzel of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the shade of the tree. That you don't even know. That there's a whole another level of bitachon here. Imkain al yidei zeh shuim HaKadosh Baruch Hu miskarev v'medaber elav. And so because of this, that when a person is now close to the Hashem, he's talking to him. Because you're automatically basking in the aura of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. When a person is mishabeach to Hashem and praises Hashem, this is what we said, right? So to speak. So what did we say? We said that when a person, the way that Kadosh Baruch Hu is we give kind of two ways of the tzel, right? That we say Hashem tzil chayar minechos. Hashem is our tzel. So we said that Kadosh Baruch Hu is like our shadow, anyway, right? Because when the concept is that when we smile to Hashem, He smiles back, so to speak. When we're moser nefesh for Hashem, when we get up early and force ourselves to go to davening, even though we don't like davening, it's too stressful and it's too hard and I don't know how to do anything, when we push ourselves to do that, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu goes out of His way to do things that are kiviyachol, too stressful, too annoying for Him, for us. That's the relationship we have, right? So, and then when we do that, when we go out and we show HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we say, Hashem, you're rofei, holy, matir, asur, and this and that. Praise and showing that, but we're going to go above nature. We're going to praise, we're going to sing, we're going to praise You. And if we have this excitement, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu does the same reciprocal. He's filled this excitement and His gewalt. And we smile at Him, He smiles back at us. And then we get bestowed upon all this Shefa that we're talking about. Right? Even, and like Rifa'enu. The way that how do we unlock refuah? Just by reading the words. Baruch atah Hashem, rofei cholei amo Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't say, when it says Rofei Cholei Amo Yisrael, what does it say? It doesn't say, those words don't mean Hashem, please heal Klal Yisrael. It says, Baruch Hashem, blessed are you Hashem, Rofei Cholei Amo Yisrael. You are the one who heals Klal Yisrael. We're going to talk about this later also, by the way, in Sharim Betfilah, which is a beautiful topic where he says, Rofei Cholei Amo Yisrael, like Hashem is mamash our doctor. Kol Yisrael. Very interesting. Okay, whatever. Either way, that's another topic. It's just exciting. See, but that's the idea. That praising, saying the brachos with praise. Because when you say those brachos of praise, you don't even need to ask. You made it. That's your bakasha. Hashem, please bestow upon me and all of Klal Yisrael Shefa. How do I know that's bakasha? Because I said it with simcha. And when I'm showing Hakadosh Baruch Hu that I want Him, that I'm acknowledging that He heals me, Hashem says, okay, great, you got it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're coming to me with this. You trusted me. You believe in me. I'm going to give it to you. Shkoyach, here you go. It's a reciprocal action. It says somewhere else. I forget where. Maybe somewhere on Tehillim. The idea is that when you show Hashem one finger, He shows back one. You show Him two, He shows two. It's the same concept. that's the way that we have to understand our relationship with Hashem. And that's also why a lot of times, like, like maybe we're in like a darker place or whatever it is, we're struggling in our avodas Hashem and stuff. Like sometimes we just need to look internally too and be like, maybe the message here is that I'm not giving Hashem I'm not giving Hashem anything, so why should Hashem give it to me? Now again, sometimes even if sometimes we're draped in sin, Hashem still lets us live. Obviously Hashem operates in the way of chesed. If we lived in the world of din, like we said, it wasn't possible. It's like Hashem had to fix the world and make it a world of chesed. But ultimately, that's a way to gauge our relationship with Hashem. It's a way to gauge how are we feeling. Do we feel like we're just lazy and we're not living because then and we don't feel close? But that's why when you push yourself in avodas Hashem, what do you find? You find success. It's crazy. Anybody can find success in avodas Hashem. It's wild. It's one of the craziest things, honestly, if you ask me. Like you're seeing types of people like who are like any people think like Judaism is like it's like it's an intellectual thing. You got to be smart. Torah, you got to be smart. You got to be this. You got to do that. But then you go and see guys who like you never know nothing, no shaykhs to academics, no shaykhs to never be like understanding stuff and like getting close to Hashem and actually able to tap into these things, which like never could have done. Like it's not like that in like basketball. If you have a guy who is he's played basketball and he wants to get better, he can try his whole life. Sometimes it just doesn't work out for him. He's not so athletic, But for some reason and somehow in avodas Hashem, anybody who wants it gets it. Because why? When you show Hashem your smile, He shows you His smile. Every single person, no exceptions. And that's why we were able to find people you can never imagine, the biggest underdogs. We have the biggest underdog rate in world history, in Judaism, in the Jewish people. That's my opinion. Like, you look at anywhere, when was the last time, like right now in the NBA, right? Okay, the NBA, the reason the NBA is the stupidest thing ever. It's always been the stupidest thing ever because who's going to win the finals every year. It's one of like 3 teams. It used to be only one team, right? Remember that year, those years with like the Golden State Warriors? We're like, anybody know who's going to be in the finals this year? Oh, who is it? It was Warriors versus who was the other team? Warriors, Cavs. I wonder who's going to make the finals this year. Who's going to, right? So it was like so stupid. It was always just like so stupid. Like the NBA was just like, there's no such thing as an underdog, right? Because you know exactly who's going to win. Like, I guarantee you, like, be a Nets fan. You waste your whole year, the Nets are never winning the finals. I hate to break to you. Even like the Knicks, even though they're a good team, the South, like whatever it is, there's no such thing as an underdog. It's not possible. Underdogs don't win, right? You're never going to see, like, what's it called? You're never going to see, like, South Dakota State walking into Alabama in football and beating them. It's just not possible. Well, March Madness is different. March Madness has got some good underdogs. But even still, overall, you are talking, that's my alma mater, FDU. I was hyped. I was in FDU. I was in FDU in the Yeshiva program online when they knocked off the 1-2. I had all my FDU pride in the world. They sent out an email like to the school offering like mascot trials. Me and my friend were thinking about going. Okay, we didn't go. But either way, think about that. Think about the odds. Now think about all the underdogs. Think about the underdogs that you know. Everybody knows underdogs. Guys who have the odds of them actually becoming successful B'nai Torah is like 0. Literally in the most depths of the depths, no shaykhs in the clubs doing whatever they do, and somehow in Judaism, our underdog rate is crazy. It's nuts because if you show Hashem a finger, He shows you one. And sometimes I might be misremembering this, but I think there's also somewhere that says maybe it could be the end of it. You show Hashem one, He shows you 2. That might be the pasuk. I don't know. I'm just not remembering all the top of my head, but it's somewhere. But that's the idea. So it's a reciprocal thing. Smile at Hashem, He smiles back at you. Shkoyach.